He said that my argument was that he's not a monotheist. I didn't say that. I was simply establishing that his Allah has passive potency, that his Allah moves to a state, to imperfection, to perfection. Your Allah is powerful by the virtue of the part of the attribute of being powerful, which means there is a state of potentiality between his attribute and his essence, which means there's a passive potency. Passive potency directly implies imperfection.
We can talk about the fact that your God is tempted by Satan. How is that?
Okay, so notice the red herrings, right? He is scared of his Allah. I will answer his question. I will answer. You're scared and you're scared. This is not
you read it.
Read the part that you just read.
Okay.
You just in that article, right? It just says that some would argue that we do not profess the same God.
Okay, it says, thus we Catholics have to be
No,
careful
read back,
to distinguish
read
between
back.
the fact that Muslims believe in the one true God.
One true
right?
God.
The one
Reason
true
for
God.
natural theology. Because natural theology posits that you can get to know a notion of the one true God deducted by nature, which would posit one God and the God of Abraham. Now, could you mind, instead of going back to your sources, responding to my argument I posed against your Allah?
Okay, so the first thing is that in your explain your essence energy distinction.
Wait, no. You said your response against your Allah. You agreed that after we talked about the Catholic position, we would talk against
didn't
Allah.
finish on the
I
Catholic
posed an argument against Allah, which means you respond to it or you're scared. Or you
I'm not.
you
Repeat
know
your
that Allah is
argument.
false.
Repeat your argument.
You're
Repeat your
scared. Okay. So, we define a part as less than the whole. You say Allah's attributes are not him and not other than him. There is a real distinction between Allah's attributes and his essence, which means
there's some attributes that are associated with this essence, right? So then there's the
but
concept
is
of
this-
Dhat and Sifat.
okay. So are the attributes associated with his essence identical to the whole itself?
No, they're talking. Okay, so then there's the essence of Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. Right?
Yeah.
And then He has His attributes.
Yeah.
Right?
And are these attributes identical to the whole itself?
This is nonsensical.
It's not.
Nonsensical because
This is
in
the
your
distinction
essence- in
between
your-
DS
hang on.
and divine complexity.
Hang on, this is like saying the essence energy situation.
Are
believe
you
in God's transcendence.
actually going back to
You
your
believe
point?
your God's transcendence, right? You believe God's transcendent.
Yeah.
And then you let me just,
Wait, hold on. Are you actually going to respond to my question?
Yes, I'm gonna
Or
respond to your
are you in a secret Catholic which knows more about Catholicism than Islam? Because whenever I ask a question against Allah, it is EED. Or whenever I blaspheme Allah, it's Catholicism. A position I don't even hold to, sir. So please respond to the point.
Okay, so
the
hang on.
attributes of Allah are not identical to
hang
the
on.
whole itself, which means it's a part of the whole. That means Allah possesses parts,
okay,
which
the
means
Orthodox, your position, the
oh,
Orthodox position.
orthodoxy, astaghfirullah. Respond against Allah, sir.
I'm saying
you're scared.
You're being hypocritical because
Yeah.
the Orthodox position asserts that God's essence is absolutely unknowable, whilst His energies and His actions are operations that manifest in the world. So
Beautiful.
you make a distinction between His essence and His energy.
Yes, there is a distinction. Hold on.
Yes, right.
But so the energies fully hypostasized make personal the essence. Okay? So we've identified the essence of God. Now the essence of God is DS. The ontology of the essence is simple, which distincts the Sunni Islam position to the Eastern Orthodox position. Now that quote there that you've just quote mined says that we know God through his energies, not through his essence. Because the energies is how we know of God's essence, right? So respond to my point. I have literally answered to a position I don't defend and I don't affirm, and a position I do affirm to. So please do not be a coward. Respond to my point. So, are the attributes of Allah identical to his essence, or the whole of Allah?
You know yourself that there's a situation that we have to have in Sunni Islam where the attributes they're referring to Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, but we do not make them equivalent to His essence, and we also don't make.
So
them
it's a part then. If it's not identical
what
to hold
do you
on,
mean by part? What do you mean by
less than the whole.
Okay, let me give you an explanation. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay?
Yeah, man.
Just give me a
It is
second.
what it is.
Wait. If we define part as a less than the whole, is Allah possessing parts?
Sorry.
Yeah. So if we define a part as less than the whole, he's possessing parts, correct?
I'll give you. I have to be very careful with my terminology, and I want to answer you. But just give me a second to be specific, okay?
Okay.
So,
Your Allah is going to be made of parts in a minute. Watch.
just give me a second.
Maybe Allah can give him part of his hair back. We'll see.
You know that time when you're just really tired, you just crack, you just go insane. That's what's happening to me.
Okay. So I'm going to reaffirm the Sunni position
yeah.
that the attributes of God, such as power, will, and knowledge, are not identical to God's essence, nor are they separate, right?
So they're not identical. Hold on. So they're indivisibly one. Because hold on. Because I've read Ibn Taymiyyah's oneness of God, and in his proposition 46, I believe, he talks about counting the attributes of Allah by division, right? Inseparability. So that's where the second part comes in. The first part then affirms that your Allah is made out of parts, because if it is not identical to the whole, it means it's less than the whole, because it's in union with the whole itself, which means your Allah possesses parts. Do you agree? Okay, then why is that not the case?
Okay, so look, I'm going to read it, and then you tell me what's wrong with it.
Okay.
Classical position in Sunni scholars is that the attributes of God, such as power, will, and knowledge,
are not
identical to God's essence, nor are they separate from it. That their being non-identical returns to the manner in which each is rationally conceptualized in the mind. The reality of an essence is not the same as the reality of an attribute.
Okay, beautiful. So you've just affirmed what I initially said, which then, in a sound argument, implicates that your Allah is made of the parts. Hold on, because you said, right, that the attributes are not... Hold on. I let you list your
quote.
Let
me finish
my point. Yes, you did. You were quiet. Okay.
Okay. So, would you say that... Okay, go ahead.
Okay, beautiful.
I don't want to...
Okay, so when I say whole, I say essence. So when the attributes of Allah are not identical to the essence itself, that would then mean that, in fact, your God possesses things that are less than the whole, which means he possesses parts.
No, we don't make that distinction.
Yes, you do. You say, hold on, that quote is saying that the attributes are distinct from the whole itself, but in union in the whole as indivisibly one. I agree, you count the attributes by division, but that does not then mean that your Allah does not possess parts.
I'm really
Stop for the war, guys. Listen. Your Allah possesses parts. Admit it.
Okay.
Do you know what you're saying?
Okay. At the same time, an attribute is not other than the essence.
Yes, because it's indivisibly one. Because you count the attributes by division.
Which refers to an attribute not subsisting on its own. It requires an essence through which it subsists.
I agree. I absolutely agree.
And
that's what an essence
being
is.
innate to its essence.
Sorry. Yeah, so it's innate. Hold on. This is such a non sequitur. It's crazy to me. So, it subsists in the essence. I agree, that's a subsistent relation. I then agree that it is indivisibly one because you count the attributes by division. But the attributes, you agreed, are not identical to the whole, which means then parts are subsisting in the essence.
You're arguing a divine simplistic argument. Do you understand that?
No. This is my first point. Then it's leading into an argument. So
no. Why is this not a divine simplistic argument? The Catholics use the same against the Orthodox. They use the same argument against the Orthodox.
They affirm ADS. We affirm DS.
You're saying that.
Wait. Does the hold on. Does the Orthodox position hold to DS? They do. The distinction is ADS and DS. Okay? So I am simply posing that if you're not divinely simple, then your God possesses parts, my friend.
So you are affirming divine simplicity?
Yes. Not absolute divine simplicity. Oh, he's getting my quotes now. Wait, hold on. Can we get back to your Allah?
No, now you're running.
Wait, running? This guy literally has been running from the fact that this guy God possesses parts. My friend, every time I say something against his Allah, he runs like a scared little boy because his Allah can't exist. Okay. Then let's respond to Allah then, okay? Because if I'm damned, you're damned as well, right? Because supposedly I don't affirm DS, that's fine, but you don't either, which means we both have the issue. That's a two-call play. Hold on. No, I'm not. What? Because they affirm ADS, I affirm DS.
Tell us the distinction.
Okay, so for example, they would affirm a virtual distinction between the persons and the essence. Or would affirm a real distinction between the persons and the essence. But the essence is the thing in question.
So you do
hold on. Because I'm not talking about the relations of the person to the essence. I'm talking about relations between the attributes and the essence. This is where the Catholic and Eastern Orthodox position is not paramount to what you're saying. Now, can we please hold on. Listen. So we're talking about the relations of the persons to the essence. I'm talking about the relationship between his attributes and essence. I am
When you-
saying,
no, no, it's
I
about
am
the
saying,
attributes- it's
I am
about the attributes
saying,
and
hold on. I am saying that in both positions we would hold to the position that the attributes are identical to the whole itself.
Okay.
You notice, guys, that
Okay, hang on.
the absolute
The Catholics, as an argument towards the Orthodox, they say there is a lack of clarity in distinguishing God's essence and energies from the philosophical concept of parts, right?
Yeah, that's the distinction between his energies and his essence. Do you notice?
how is that
Hold
not-
on. You notice that is not talking about the attributes and the essence, because that's not a point of contention between the Catholics and Orthodox. Now, can you please accept that you're a Muslim, and I'm an Eastern Orthodox Christian, and there's not a Catholic here debating?
No, the issue is...
Hold on.
That you come with your Catholic brothers,
This is
and then
literally,
you say
hold
you're
on.
brothers,
This
but
is
the Catholics
this
are
is
saying they
literally a
worship the same
two
God as the
quoque,
Muslims.
gentlemen.
The
This
Catholics
is
are
literally,
saying
hold
they
on.
worship the same God as
Hold
the
on.
Muslims, the same one
This
true
is
God,
literally,
the same
hold
one
on.
true God. Why
Buddy,
can't you accept
buddy,
that?
this
Why
is
can't you accept
literally a two quoque.
It's not a two quoque.
Yes, it is.
If I'm coming, say my brothers,
Ladies and gentlemen,
and I have to,
so
and he's worshipping,
respond. Look, listen. Respond to my point, or listen. If you don't respond about your Allah, you're scared of your Allah.
No, it's
I
not.
am responding.
Okay.
I am responding in
So
the limited
your
knowledge that I have.
Allah possesses parts because you've literally identified that Allah's attributes are not identical to the whole itself.
I haven't affirmed that. I haven't affirmed the opposite as well. It's a very clear situation.
It's not.
It is a very clear situation that we don't completely disassociate the parts from the essence, but we don't completely combine the parts from the essence.
You understand, right? I'm not arguing that they're separate. They're just not divinely simple, right? They're not
Yeah,
identical.
yeah,
Hold
I
on.
can agree that it's not divinely simple,
I completely disagree with the notion that a God can exist and his attributes be really distinct from his essence, because then that would affirm that your God has passive potency, and that would also go against classical theistic arguments. Hold on. Such as hold on. Ladies and gentlemen, every time I speak, he's going to talk about Catholics. Every time you pose a classical theistic argument, such as the contingency argument, I am simply going to pose back that your Allah's parts are not our say, therefore they're contingent.
Are you saying?
Hold on.
Is your argument to its full conclusion? Is
No,
your
it's
argument
not.
to its full conclusion
No.
that we worship multiple gods? Is that your argument?
No, that's not my argument.
So what is it?
I'm not arguing that because your Allah's part.
Because there is no church father,
Yeah,
and
listen.
there is no figure in early
Yeah,
Christianity history which has said that Muslims are not monotheists.
Yeah. So that's
No,
that's
so you're
literally
not
not my
arguing from
argument.
your tradition.
I'm arguing that your Allah is imperfect.
It's imperfect.
Yes. Because I'm saying. Yeah. I'll go back to that. So. Hold on. Buddy, you strawmanned my position. Listen. You strawmanned my position or what my argument is.
Tempted by Satan, right? Is perfect. And our God.
Oh, yes. Okay, so very simple. I'm going to argue, because if you say that again, you say something inflammatory. I'm going to say something about your prophet.
No.
Hold on. You say something again like that again. You say You say something.
is your
Hold
God
on.
perfect when he was tempted
Listen,
by
I
Satan?
can tempt Allah. Allah, I'll be a Muslim if lightning strikes right now. That's temptation.
He did
Right.
not fall into temptation.
They didn't exactly. Temptation right now. Allah, give me $1 million and I'll be a Muslim. That's temptation, ladies and gentlemen. That's what he's saying is a disqualifier. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we said, right?
Okay, I'm saying if
Listen, he said that my argument was that he's not a monotheist. I didn't say that. I was
you agree that
simply
Muslims are
establishing that his Allah has passive potency, that his Allah moves to a state, to imperfection, to perfection. Because I need to establish premise 1, that his Allah is composed of parts. That is not the Catholic position, because my God is ontologically simple. Could he say that against Allah and Tawheed? No, he would be a Shia. So if we were to talk about the differences between the Sunni and Shia, a Shia would bring the exact same argument against his Sunni tradition, that his God is not ontologically simple.
Okay,
that's point 1. Point 2, why would I say that his God is composed of parts? To establish that his God moves to a state of imperfection to perfection. What do I mean by this? Your Allah is powerful by the virtue of the part of the attribute of being powerful, which means there is a state of potentiality between his attribute and his essence. which means there's a passive potency. Passive potency directly implies imperfection.
We can talk about the fact that your God is tempted by Satan. And how is that?
Okay, so
hang on.
Wait. So notice the straw man. Notice the red herrings, right? He is scared of his Allah. He's a sissy for Allah. I will answer his question. I will answer. You're scared and you're scared. Very simple, ladies and gentlemen. I can tempt Allah right now. Allah, I will be a Muslim if I get a girlfriend and I have $1 million. That's an external temptation, ladies and gentlemen. But that's not a disqualifier for Allah being God. Now, did Christ fall for the temptation? No, he didn't. It's an external temptation. I've just tempted Allah to condemn Allah.
Can I talk now?
Yes.
I dare you talk for God knows how long. Okay, so the fact is, in the Bible, always temptation. Explain to me what temptation is.
Yeah, proposing.
Temptation is the ability to sin, right?
Yeah.
No,
it's not.
No,
it's not.
Tell me what it is.
Yeah, so temptation would be posing a motive for a desire.
So there can't be temptation without desire, right?
Or
So
yeah,
I
a
can't
motive.
tempt you to do something if you don't have the capacity.
No, I'm
desire
talking about
something.
the agent committing the temptation.
No,
so
no,
hold on. Listen.
it's fine.
I'm clarifying what I mean. I'm clarifying what I mean.
let's
So
clarify
I am
what-
saying
let's
when
clarify what
Satan
temptation is.
tempts Jesus, okay? Satan's jealous. He wants to be God. So of course he would tempt God. That's the motivation and that's the proposition. That I am the God of humanity. That I am the God of this creation
You're
here.
not understanding what I'm saying. I'm saying not from the
Hold on.
perspective of the tempter,
Yeah.
but of the tempted. To be tempted to do something.
But fall into temptation, you've identified it has to be falling into
Can I
temptation.
finish?
Yes.
Okay. To be tempted into doing something, you have to have the desire to be able to do the thing you're being tempted to do, right?
No, because
That follows
no,
by
hold on,
definition.
it doesn't.
Because I can't tempt.
It doesn't.
I can't
no, listen,
tempt, I
bro,
can't
bro.
tempt-
You are
Can I talk?
misunderstanding. No, do you
Isn't
know
letting
why
me
I'm
talk,
being rude?
David?
Because you've
Isn't letting me
straw
talk.
man. You've
Okay.
literally moved.
Tell
introduce
your voice
timing.
calm down a bit. Yeah,
No,
yeah,
no,
yeah.
listen.
Look,
No,
she's scared
listen,
of time.
bro.
Name drop, man,
Listen.
name drop.
He's moved the topic 3
I know, I
times.
know. Okay,
So
so
we will have a
here's what
time
we'll do.
discussion if
Yep,
it's about your
agreed,
Allah.
agreed.
Too long now.
If it's about your Allah, we'll have a time discussion. Because you're not scared of your Allah. Are you scared? Are you scared of your full?
Okay.
Can I go?
So no,
Wait a second.
time discussion.
How many minutes are we doing?
So
Huh?
2 minutes about
2
his
minutes?
Allah.
2 minutes?
About his Allah.
Okay.
About his
Starting
Allah.
now.
Because we moved
About
topics.
his Allah. No, you
Start
haven't.
now.
You
Start
moved
now.
topics.
I'm not gonna
You
talk.
moved topics. So David, if he is the
David,
moderator,
start again.
if you are the moderator, you would agree that it should be about Allah.
Pause it and start again. Just have a decent discussion.
About
I'm enjoying
Allah.
the discussion.
About
You're doing a really
Allah.
great job. You're doing a really great job.
About no, hold
everybody
on.
needs
So,
to-
ladies and gentlemen, he has shifted the goalpost 3 times.
How many times?
He talked
I'm
about
happy- I'm
Catholicism. I don't hold to it, but I would argue for the truth. He argued against Allah, to which he ran to, and now he's talking about Christ. Stick to a position, sir. You can't defend your own faith. You can't defend your faith.
I will talk. Can you
You
shut up?
cannot
Name drop.
defend
Yeah,
your
let
faith.
him-
talk,
You're doing a
man.
great job. You're doing a really great job. But just let him have his. Yeah,
I know
let
you're
him
scared.
have
Okay,
his-
okay.
Let him have his moment. You know?
You're scared of Allah.
Don't fall for stress. Okay, cool. So we're doing 2 minutes each. Right? Now listen. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. Ultimately, like you said, 3
Let me-
topics.
let me wrap
Wait
up
a
this.
second. 3 topics, and he has simply brought up topics against the faith. Now you've asked him about Allah, and he hasn't answered you yet. So carry on hammering away at it for as long as you like. Now 2 minutes, he's gonna go, then you go. Yeah? Yay? Okay. Say when.
Who goes first?
Say what. You go first. Say when.
No. Okay, so this last topic, I'm happy to revisit the topics he mentioned, but this last topic he's running away from it because he's shouting. So the point is that temptation, you can't tempt something if they have the incapacity to be doing that thing. If they don't have the desire to do that thing. I can't tempt a tripod. Okay, I can't tempt a tripod to jump because it doesn't have a desire to jump. So by the very nature, in the Bible where it says Jesus was tempted to sin, he must have had a desire to sin. And if he had a desire to sin, he cannot be God because God cannot have a desire to go against himself. Because to sin is to go against God. So if God was tempted to sin, he cannot be God.
Okay.
Wait, you got 2 minutes. You got 2 minutes.
Okay, sure. So let me just emphasize this point again and again because he's never going to address it. You can't tempt a tripod to jump because the tripod itself does not have a desire to jump. You can only tempt something if they have a desire to do the thing that is being tempted to do. So if in the Bible where it says Jesus was tempted by Satan, it's saying that Jesus was tempted, that means Jesus had a desire, and that desire could have succumbed to sin. So by that definition, God cannot be Jesus because Jesus was tempted to sin.
Okay, beautiful.
Yeah.
So you need to.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm happy to sacrifice.
Okay, so you have to make a distinction between falling through that temptation and external temptation. External temptation is a stimuli. I could tempt this tripod, sure. Tripod, jump. It's not going to because it doesn't have the mental faculties or its nature is unable to be tempted. Just like Christ's nature. I could go to Christ and tempt him, but it is not in his nature to be tempted, therefore he did not fall through it. So, my challenge to you is find me in scripture where comprehension is an answer. But if it doesn't follow, listen buddy, if it doesn't follow, you brought up tripod by the way, not me. So, if he does not follow through, is that a disqualifier?
I am not. That's not a disqualifier.
Oh, beautiful. Does Christ follow through that temptation when he's posed against Satan?
Okay.
According to scripture, does Christ follow through to that temptation?
You can't. Okay, well, the difference here is that you can't tempt God to sin. So
Yes, I can. Allah, commit lust and I'll be a Muslim. Is he going to follow through? Is he going to follow through? Is he going to? Oh, exactly. Does Jesus follow through?
He didn't.
Does Jesus follow through?
So you got
No. Does Jesus follow through?
No!
Which means he can still be God. Now, let's go back to your Allah. You stop the timer, not me. So, you are still saying he's indivisible God. That's not why I can tempt Allah. And if that's how you define temptation, this is a disqualifier for your Allah. Allah, I want $1 million and I'll become a Muslim. That is a temptation. You know through your Quran, Allah will not follow through because he has a conceptually perfect nature. Now let's talk about your Allah. You've ran away from the point. You've accused me of running, now you're running. Allah possesses attributes which are not identical to the whole itself, which means Allah possesses parts. If Allah possesses parts, it means, for example, the attribute of being powerful powers the essence, which means there's a state of potentiality, there's passive potency between the attributes of Allah and the essence. If there is passive potency, that necessitates imperfection, which means your God is imperfection. You cannot have two contradictory notations like your Allah is imperfect and your Allah possesses a conceptually perfect nature.
Done?
Yeah.
All right. Say when.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead. Okay, so you mentioned that our God is imperfect and stuff, brother, because he is composed of parts. I made it very clear to you that there's the essence and then there's attributes associated to that essence. They are not completely part of that essence and then they are not parts away from that essence. There is a relation there between the attributes and the essence, okay? And I've explained that to you multiple times. I'm not going to go over it again. The thing that you mentioned there about the nature, that didn't make any sense. I'm going to repeat the argument, and I don't understand how that disqualifies. Like, okay, so if you're saying that the tripod doesn't have the nature to comprehend.
Fall through.
I'm happy for him to interrupt you.
To fall through.
So it doesn't have that.
So I can say to a tripod,
Yeah, possible.
jump.
Yeah.
It doesn't have the mental faculties or its nature is unable to follow through for that temptation. So I can pose an external stimuli.
Let's keep it
temptation.
calm. We don't have to do the timing. Let's
hold
keep
on.
it calm, okay?
So
No, time is important. Because this is the one
So,
last time.
we can pose an external stimuli, being temptation, onto an inanimate object. That object won't respond. So it's not following through that temptation, correct?
So it's.
I'm restarting.
Sorry, just restate that point.
So I can speak to an inanimate object.
Yeah.
It won't speak back to me, will it?
Yeah, no.
Beautiful. So if I say a temptation to an inanimate object, I am saying it to that object in question, but it's not going to follow through, correct?
But the issue here is that
So
you're not
it's
tempting the object
I'm
because
starting.
you can only tempt something that can comprehend the temptation. right, and can act upon that temptation, whether to reject that temptation or whether to accept the temptation. So when you're saying that you can still tempt the tripod, you can't tempt the tripod.
So I've got a question now. That you've had a dichotomy of it following through and it not following through.
Yeah.
So let's just say I pose God a temptation that does not follow through. Is that a disqualifier?
You pose God a temptation.
If I pose a temptation and God does not follow through, is that a disqualifier for God?
But it says do not tempt God in the Bible.
Yeah, but if I do it because I'm sinful, I go against God all the time.
Sure.
So if I pose God a temptation and it does not follow through, is that a disqualifier?
You pose God a temptation and he can comprehend what you're proposing to him.
Does Jesus follow through? Which means he can still be God. Now let's go back to your Allah. You stop the timer, not me. So you are still saying he's indivisibly one. That's not my argument, my friend. I accept the premise that you profess monotheism. I don't care, right? The understanding of monotheism.
Please ask him who's the God of Jesus, the flesh.
Siraj,
And
I
who's
will
your
carry
God?
you away if you don't get out of here.
Siraj,
I will carry you away.
stop having
Get out of here.
Siraj, you're an historian, mate. Jesus in the flesh.
Who's the God of Jesus, the flesh, and who's
Oh yeah, I needed a shower.
If-
Thanks, mate.
Sorry.
Pal, if you need your arguments from Siraj, you're on deep issue, mate. Okay, so you've literally conceded on camera that that's no longer a disqualifier. So, topic one, done.
No. It's
Allah.
not. I did not.
Let me come back in for a second. Times. Who's going next?
Me.
Okay, 2 minutes. Starting now.
So beautiful. You've identified that it's not a disqualifier for God to be opposed to temptation and him not following through. I am asked, the burden of proof is on you to show me in scripture where Jesus follows through in a temptation. Point one. Point two. I get, and this is where you're not tracking here. I understand that your God is indivisibly one. There are multiplications in God. I agree, right? Sorry, there's a noise in the background. It's disturbing me. Now, if we define parts as less than the whole, and the attributes are not identical to the whole, it means your Allah is composed of parts. He's still indivisibly one, but he's made of parts. Now, if he's made of parts, that means, for example, God is all powerful through the virtue of the parts of being powerful, which means there's a passive potency in God, which necessitates imperfection, which is a contradiction in your Sunni tradition. Okay, yeah. So you've the burden of proof is on you to demonstrate that God actually got followed through for his temptation. And if you keep on saying that's not the case, then your Allah has not been God for the last 5 minutes, my friend. Allah, $1 million, want it now? Be a Muslim. End the timer.
What I'm saying is, by that understanding of temptation, you're not tempting the God. You're not tempting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? You're just stating stuff to the air without it having the effect that you think it's having. Okay?
To prostrate to the ground.
So they do that in the church tradition as well.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so why are you using that as an insult?
But no, I'm not using it as an insult. Rather, it's an obtuse refutation of my argument. You know why? Because you're saying that I'm just saying things to God. What was Satan doing to Christ? Saying things. If you're saying that that's not the definition of temptation, good, you've refuted yourself again. Because then that means Christ was not tempted.
Okay. So the reason that there was a temptation, right, was because
Did Christ follow through?
There's Christ's will and then there's God's will.
But Christ doesn't have a
they're not-
Hold on. Now you just don't know our Eastern tradition. Christ didn't have a gnomic will. He didn't have sinful inclination. He was the second Adam.
Eastern Orthodox, I accept it.
Yeah, Christ didn't have a gnomic will. He doesn't have sinful inclinations. He can't definitionally have that, which means again he's not tempted. You literally agreed, and now you're being a sophist, that under this precondition of how I'm tempting Allah, that's not definitionally temptation. Good. And in terms of Christ, that's not temptation either. Because if it's just a statement to someone, and if he doesn't follow through, that's not temptation. Christ wasn't tempted. The burden of proof is on you to show me in Scripture where he follows through with this statement.
Yeah. Okay, so what topic do you want me to address?
Allah being imperfect.
Allah being perfect. Okay. So as Muslims, we believe in a perfect God, right? I don't understand. Tell me why he's imperfect.
Again, so let's just firstly agree on this point.
Okay.
Allah's attributes are not identical to the essence, correct?
Might as well put the phone away.
I don't fully feel comfortable agreeing to that.
Well, hold on.
Yeah.
Listen. You literally just read. Well, either
Yeah.
that they're not. So you agree to that, which means the attributes are less than the whole. which is what a part
But
is.
that is the step. That you're taking another step.
I'm not taking a step.
necessarily agreeing to.
Wait,
Yeah.
if it's okay, this is a basic fact of Mariology, right?
Sure.
If it's not the whole itself, it's a part. Would you agree?
Well, you disagree to that yourself when you say that
I don't.
Jesus, the Holy Spirit, and the Father are distinct from each other, but they're not parts of each other. Right?
Yeah, because distinctions doesn't entail composition, especially when their ontology is divinely simple.
There,
But
you answered the
listen,
point.
my friend.
Distinctions do not entail
Yes,
composition.
yes, but we would say that God is like the persons are fully
Yeah,
God,
yeah.
fully. Numerically identical to the essence of
And
God.
as
Hold
I
on,
said-
hold on.
as I said,
Listen,
the
listen, listen,
essence-
listen,
the essence
listen,
of
listen,
Allah.
listen, listen, listen. Numerically identical to what God is, which means He's identical. If He's not, and He is less than the whole itself, do you know what that means? It's part, which means the attributes are a part. So, can you agree? Because if premise one, hold on. Premise one is that Allah's attributes are not Him, not other than Him. This entails a real distinction between the attributes of Allah and the essence of Allah. Premise three, the attributes are not identical to the essence. Conclusion, Allah's attributes are a part. Your Allah is composed of parts. Now, can you demonstrate how that's an invalid or unsound argument?
Okay, so are you saying that, like, say, I just want to clarify my position. Okay, so like the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right?
Yeah, it's not identical.
Are you saying that we as Muslims, we cannot as Muslims pray to that?
That's not my point.
Okay? Yeah.
I'm saying there is one being of Allah composed of parts. Do you agree?
No.
Why not?
I'm not.
I
don't
gave you
feel comfortable.
I gave you an
Okay,
argument.
right, there is
I gave you an argument, and you're just saying
Okay,
I
okay.
disagree. Demonstrate how it
Okay,
doesn't
okay,
follow.
okay. Look, okay, let me explain. Like, okay, so you're composed of your will, your strength, your
But
your
by the way, bro,
Yeah.
listen. So this is like you're a composite, by the way. This is not identical. Your arm is not identical to the whole of yourself,
Yeah,
correct?
absolutely.
So you're a composite. You're made of a heart, lungs, a brain, right? Blood, parts, right? So I'm essentially saying, just as much as you're made of parts, Allah is made of parts.
No, that's not fully. Would you
Okay,
say-
I
would
gave you an
say-
argument, right?
Would you say that your will, your knowledge, is a part of you?
Yes, it's part of me.
It's part of you.
Yeah, yeah.
So they are distinct parts of you.
Yeah. Well, you would have
And
to
how
say.
do they relate to your essence?
Yes.
Because your will,
So,
your knowledge is not part of your
because
essence. Right?
mind begets will, and there is a substantiation of the universal human nature. Now, can we go back to the point? So, we define parts as less than the whole. You said that the attributes are not identical or the whole itself, which means it's a part or lesser than the whole, which means your Allah is made out of parts.
No, we wouldn't.
Bro, like how many times do I have to repeat this until you identify how
I
it's not sound?
understand what you're saying. Okay. Yeah.
So you agree?
No. I'm saying I don't fully feel comfortable using that terminology.
Okay, I don't feel comfortable going to the park and being touched by Muslims. Doesn't mean I don't do it. So just admit it and be like a boy, right? Be a man, right?
I will admit
Grow
it.
some boxers
I
and
will
let's
admit
talk.
it when you admit that your God
Uh-huh.
is the same God as the Catholics.
I mean, if you're saying it's like an extension or like a reduction of the fact that we share like the predicate of like professing the Trinity, sure.
Thomas, I don't change topics.
But again,
No, that was the
let's not
original-
change
that was the
topics.
original topic.
So
Because he came to me and then he
yeah, so if
I
this
came
is
up
if
late.
this is like a reduction of, for example, professing the Trinity, in that sense, sure. But now,
Sure.
in
So,
that
but-
sense, sure.
Okay. So when the Pope says he worships the same God as the Muslims, you are accepting.
I
he
would
worships the same
agree.
God as the
I would
Muslims.
disagree because the rationale of the Pope is through right.
So then you don't accept
Hold on,
that you
hold
worship
on,
the same
hold
God
on,
as the
hold on.
Catholics.
Listen to what I said,
Sure.
and then I want you to respond. If you're saying I share the same God of the Catholics because I share the reducible predicate of professing the Trinity, sure. Now, Pope aside, because I'm not a Catholic, you're a Muslim,
Yeah.
right? So, if Allah possesses attributes, and I've said this for the 5th time, and the attributes are not identical to the whole, and are less than the whole itself, that means it's a part.
I mean, you've said it a few times.
Yeah.
To my limited knowledge, I'm not going to, on this specific topic, I'm not going to engage further from my position, right?
Wait, so you'd like to talk about the God of the Catholic? Hold on. So let me get this right. You want to talk about the Catholic God, but you won't talk about Allah.
No, I'm saying.
Well, it's a talk
I'm
about
saying
Allah
that
then.
It's
Beautiful.
frivolous.
Talk about
You-
Allah.
Okay. The first thing is the issue that Christianity fell into was it started to adopt Hellenistic philosophy.
Oh,
So
listen,
the
right?
reason-
Oh
that
my
we're not-
goodness!
that
Listen,
we're
right?
not gonna-
He's
no,
more
I'm saying this
comfortable
logic is
to
not-
talk about the Catholic position than he is to talk about Allah.
No, I'm
Now,
saying
the
I
first
don't wanna-
principle, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm 16. If you're committing a polemics, you should be familiar with your own position.
Yes.
I am
But I'm saying-
16, and I know that to be true.
Okay, fair.
So
Hang
talk
on,
about
hang on,
your
hang on. What
position
I'm saying is,
before
from the
attacking
Sunni-
other people's
from
position.
the Sunni Islam position, this is my position that I'm not going to get.
Defend
I'm
your
not- okay,
position.
from-
Don't say you believe in it.
Yeah.
Defend
Yeah,
it.
and I'm defending my position by these discussions. They just go into philosophy, and just because you may make a point from philosophical concept that looks like it's more appropriate than my point, doesn't necessarily mean that that's a good way to get to God.
That's just word salad, my
no,
friends.
no, it's not. It's not a way to
That's
get to
word
God.
salad.
It's not. It's not.
No, hold on, hold
But
on.
what I'm
What
saying
is philosophy? The definition of
history,
philosophy
yeah.
is love of wisdom. Are you saying the love of wisdom removes the possibility of knowing God?
I'm saying Aristotelian logic is not a way to get to God.
Oh, by the way, like in
The
terms
way
of
to get to God is through divine
buddy,
revelation.
buddy.
Yeah.
So, quick notion for you, pal.
Sure.
If you're discussing other people's faith,
Yes.
learn about yours.
No, I
now,
understand.
about philosophy.
Yeah.
Is Ibn Taymiyyah a theologian?
Yes.
Is that about philosophy? Theology is.
No. I'm saying there is.
Wait, buddy,
aspects
you
where
said
you
in the
can use philosophy.
Okay.
right? But
So
I'm saying-
when I read in Ibn Taymiyyah's Oneness of God,
Sure.
which talks about the relationship between Allah, His attributes, His essence, and how He's indivisibly one,
Yeah.
that is covering the topic that I'm critiquing today.
Yeah.
So if you want to condemn me, condemn Ibn
Yeah.
Taymiyyah.
And my position is.
Wait, so condemn Ibn Taymiyyah, talk to me.
But I'm saying what you're saying.
Yeah.
Where you're trying to argue this from this perspective,
Yeah.
that is not necessarily the way to God. Like the way to God.
How?
Just by
That is
having,
not only is that word salad, right? Not only is that appealing to like an ambiguous statement, you're just poisoning the well, right? Do you think the people at the corner, it's like a salvation issue to be at the park? Most of the people here aren't practicing that. Hold on. The most fruitless place you could ever be is Speaker's Corner at sometimes. Sometimes it will be fruitful, sometimes it's not, right? So you saying it's not a good way of going to God, don't come to the park, my friend.
No, I'm saying trying to understand.
Jibreel is a created spirit, distinct and separate from Allah, but Allah anointed the prophethood of Muhammad, and that the Mus'haf is distinct from the eternal Quran, or the uncreated Quran. I don't know what position you hold to. So, you've just done philosophy. Back to the statement.
No.
Look,
I'm saying.
you just done philosophy.
Well, I'm saying.
You-
hang on,
you
hang
made
on.
a distinction.
I'm saying to try and understand the nature and the essence of God through philosophy is not an appropriate.
You just made a
way to
philosophical
understand-
statement against
you
Allah's
understand the
essence.
essence and nature of God.
You just
through
made,
divine revelation.
listen, we can end the conversation here if you're just not tracking, that's fine. But you have just made a statement
No,
against
it's-
Allah's essence.
Why?
Allah's essence is separate from Jibreel, his spirit,
Yes.
is really distinct from the speech of Allah, and the speech of
But we're
Allah
not- but that-
is not identical to the Mus'haf.
Through
Thank
logic-
you.
Through logical
You
deduction,
approved.
through logical deduction, you can separate like the concept of Allah
Okay,
subhanahu
how about
wa
this?
ta'ala
Logical
from the rest
deduction.
of creation.
Hold
I'm
on.
saying To understand Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala,
Okay.
you can't use Aristotelian logic to understand.
You're just poisoning the well. Because you're just saying that so you're right.
No,
Yes,
that's
you
a
are.
Sunni Islamic position. We shouldn't
Do
use
philosophy.
Aristotelian logic to understand
Wait,
the essence.
do you
of
even know
Allah.
what Aristotelian logic is? What is it then?
Yeah, it's like the logic of Aristotle. I mean, come on, man. Like, I don't have to
If
follow the
brother,
definition
I
right
hold
now.
to classical logic,
Yeah.
law of exclusive middle, law of identity,
Sure.
law of non-contradiction.
Yeah.
I am appealing to the law of non-contradiction. Now, are you saying that your theologians would disagree with the law of non-contradiction?
Our theologians will disagree with the law of non-contradiction.
Wait, you disagree that the law of non-contradiction is a notion which stipulates that there cannot be a P and not P in the same relation in the same time. You reject that that is not true.
Well, how does that apply? From Christian position, you don't believe that either.
What do you mean we do?
Okay, so repeat that. There
Look,
is a
buddy,
P-
buddy.
Yeah.
Buddy.
Yeah.
So I'm asking you, is the notion true that there cannot be a P and not P in the same respect in the same time? And if you cannot answer this question,
that
you
is-
are not
no, no,
learned.
no, no.
Hold on. If you cannot answer this question, I would say you're not learned in your faith to discuss against Islam or Catholicism or Eastern Orthodoxy
I'm
or
saying
even Protestantism.
hang on. From your position, I'm trying to
No.
say, are you being hypocritical?
No.
Because you believe that Jesus is God, right?
Yeah.
And you believe Jesus is a man.
Yeah.
Right? How is that fit with any
Okay,
part of
logical contra. Hold on.
Aristotelian logic?
I'm going to answer your question,
sure.
then I'm going to call you a coward and leave the conversation. So, we define a P and not P as a P and not P in the same respect in the same time. Jesus Christ's humanity, his sets of predication appointed to humanity, is in respect to his human nature, not in respect to his divine. It'd be a logical contradiction to say there is one nature which shares contradictory predicates. Rather, we ascribe it of two distinct natures. So, I beg you today, I believe you're not learned.
Wait, sorry. I'm just simply saying
Yeah.
that our understanding of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? We understand that through divine revelation. We
Yeah.
never succeed to Aristotelian logic, no matter
You didn't
how
even know what, brother.
Okay.
I don't even know
Okay,
what you're
but-
saying,
okay,
Aristotelian logic, my
Okay,
friend.
I'm saying
So
logic,
you are not
yeah,
learned. Listen.
Okay, I'm
You're not
I'm not
learned.
learned. It's
You're
okay,
not
it's okay,
learned
it's
on
okay.
Allah.
Alright.
You're not learned in Tawheed. You're not learned in Catholicism.
Sure,
You're not
okay,
learned
sure.
in Eastern Orthodoxy, right? You have spent an hour of my time demonstrating
You
none
came
of
up
your
to me.
points,
You came up
self-refuting,
to me.
contradictory notations,
You came
which
up to me.
destroy your faith and actually reinforce mine. So thank you very much, my friend. I beg you, big day. And I have to sort out
May
these
Allah
cameras.
subhanahu wa ta'ala guide you.
Well, a God that's
And
made out of
the
parts
hatred
and
in
is
your
in-
heart of Islam, leave.
My brother, we genuinely love you. Bro, you love me with the love of Christ.
Brother, I love you.
Logically deduced.
Listen. If you were to come up to me and said, "Can I have a Bible in church?" I would take you to church on Sunday and give you a free Bible.
No, that's not love. That's not.
Brother, I truly love you
you don't.
because I believe what.
Because look at the way you've talked throughout this conversation. Look at the arrogance that you talked with. Look at the way you.
That's just my character. Now, I actually will. Hold on. I will apologise. I won't hang up to camera. So, ladies and gentlemen. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was interesting. 3 topics, to which 3 topics I believe is not a factor for me, rather an issue for him. Is Allah is made out of parts. He wouldn't admit it, but the silence was killer. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would invite you exactly. Allah is a Lego set. He possesses parts. He's not identical to the parts themselves. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would invite you to the Trinity of a divine, simplistic God. Not a God composed of parts and contingents. Any argument that the Dawagandists pose here against contingency will refute their God, because their God is made of parts and these parts themselves are not our say. So ladies and gentlemen, I bid you good night. I hope the Holy Spirit guides you to the truth, the way and the light, and may it cleanse me and use me as a messenger to demonstrate that Christianity is truth.
Well done, young Bob. Young Bob, your channel, what's your channel name? Your channel's name, young Bob.
Oh yeah, Young Bob Apologia, that's the one.
Well done, young Bob, well done.
Someone get this.